Okay.
So, I this is Zach Laws
This is Zach Moore, and this is
Zach on Zach film.
Zach to Zach.
Zach to Zach.
Zach on Zach. Zach on Zach violence.
We're working on the title. So today we're going to be talking about Jupiter Ascending by the Wachowskis.
And while we do that, I'm going to try and do some Jupiter Ascending type Grand Theft Auto action.
So, this is reminiscent of the scene where the spacecraft took off.
Well, what I thought was, like, this is kind of like a spaceship, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly into the city, I'm going to find a random girl, and I'm going to try to capture her.
Good idea. Yeah,
just like Channing Tatum.
Only without the munchkin ears.
Dog ears. What was his name in the movie?
I don't remember. Let me look it up here.
It was like Cypher Rage.
Cypher Rage.
Something. Kane. Dogman.
I didn't really pay attention to his name in the movie.
I just called him Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
That sounds like an alien name.
Yeah. Let's see here. So overall, what was your take on the movie, I guess?
Very mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are parts of it that I really loved, and parts of it where I was just like, what is happening? Where are we? Who are these people, and what are they doing?
So Channing Tatum's name in the movie was Kane Wise.
Kane Wise?
Yeah, so almost like K9, but he's wiser than a K9.
Well, that makes sense, because he's a dog, but also he's a man. I did like all the like, animal people in the background.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I didn't really understand, like, I guess, like, the whole society that they created didn't make a ton of sense. Like, there were humans who were rich.
Yeah.
And there were humans who were animal people. And then there were humans who were like us, who live on Earth.
Yeah. And I can't really... it's funny because, the movie starts out and there's this prologue about how Jupiter came into being. Not Jupiter the planet, but Jupiter the girl. And, after that there's this weird scene on another planet with the three people who turn out to be, I guess, are three antagonists. But I didn't really understand what was going on in that scene, or if it was set in the future and the whole story was a flashback, or what the deal was.
Oh yeah, when I think it was current time. Because like, what's his name? Eddie Redmayne. He was old.
Yeah.
And then later we see him in one of those like magic baths, and then he's young again.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it was bizarre. I couldn't.
Oh, and that was it was because there was like that was one of the planets they had harvested.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that was Jupiter. I was I was confused during a lot of it, and I didn't quite know why they wanted Jupiter or why it was important for her to.
Here we go.
There you go. So kidnap that lady, or shoot her in the butt.
No, I'm protecting her.
Oh, okay.
Protecting her from all these people.
You just got her.
Well.
Whoops.
Oh, nope, she's okay.
You okay, lady?
It's okay. She's fine, everybody.
As long as you run over to the victim of a hit and run, they can just get right back up again.
See, now we're friends.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's running with me. Aliens!
Oh, poor man.
One thing I did really like in the movie was the action scenes.
Yeah, there's
like the scene where the whole like chase scene through Chicago. It was like, that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I lost it.
And there's a really spectacular scene where Jupiter's getting married. And Kane Wise has to rescue her.
It was like, do you remember in like arcades where there was those games? It was like top-down view of an airplane, and there's just like a billion. Oh, I died. There's like a billion like spaceships and airplanes and bullets flying through him. I was like, that was basically That was cool. Although I was like, they have like 10 million spaceships, but they don't seem to be like doing very much.
Yeah.
But it looked cool.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the whole movie. Like, I don't understand what's happening, but it looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I thought really shined through was Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Her sort of her personality and her sense of humor and her sexiness, even when she's scrubbing toilets. I mean, she's a real movie star.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's a sad comment on our times that she gets second billed in a movie. Yeah, in a movie that's called Jupiter Ascending.
It's named after her. She's the main character.
Mm-hmm. She's the one who undergoes the greatest amount of change.
Oh, Kane Wise, he gets wings.
He does, alright. Yeah. He gets these bizarre wings.
It's one of the many, many lovably goofy details of the movie. It ends like It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm. Alright, K9 gets his wings.
Yeah, I think it was like, I feel like how the character as she was written was like really flat. Because she doesn't really like do a whole lot. Like it's just characters capturing her. No, someone else captured her.
You're right. I mean, it is.
But Mila Kunis, like, she gave her character more depth than the characters were.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, now that I think about it, she is just sort of like tugged around, except for that moment at the end where she has to make a decision to save her family. You know, I thought that
I wasn't entirely sure what like her plan was.
Right.
She was like, "I'm gonna save Earth," and I'm like, "Okay, so you're letting your family die."
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because Channing Tatum was there.
That's right.
Time to rescue her again.
So how funny was it seeing Academy Award winner Eddie Redmayne as this sort of prissy villain?
It's like the most over-the-top performance in a movie.
Yeah.
In a movie where there's a co-pilot who's an elephant man.
Yeah.
And he's like alternating between whispers and yelling really loud.
It's funny, when the Oscar campaign for Theory of Everything was going on, I was talking to some of Eddie's people. And
chase this woman down. She needs to be rescued.
Yeah, go get her.
From the aliens.
Rescue her with a gun.
I'm saving you. Stop running.
But every time Jupiter Ascending would get brought up, they'd say, "We're not talking about that movie." Oh my God!
I did not have a good track record with rescuing these people.
Just so it's clear, the woman who got hit with the car is the one that he was trying to.
Yeah.
Not the number of other people.
It was the same car too. It's just like this is Grand Theft Auto world. Like, look both ways before you cross the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
So do we think the Wachowskis will ever again get the money to make a movie of that scale again?
I don't know. It's like, you could say the same thing after Speed Racer or Cloud Atlas, and they did it again.
Well, granted, Cloud Atlas was independently financed.
That's true. Wasn't it? I feel like it was one of those movies where they had like 20 production companies.
They did, yes.
Scrambling money from every little nook and cranny.
It was, yeah. Warner Brothers distributed it, but it was an independently financed film. A lot of it was actually, I think a lot of the financing came from Germany, because of Tom Twyker, who was there.
He was like the co-director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oddly enough, even though Cloud Atlas contained 6 different storylines, that felt more cohesive to me.
It did. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I really love Cloud Atlas. Like,
I did too. Yeah.
That's a good point. Like, it seems like it should be more convoluted, but it's not. Like, it has like the whole emotional through line.
Yeah.
Between all the different stories, and that keeps it like that connects them. And Jupiter Ascending, it's like it doesn't really even have like there's the whole like Game of Thrones like machinations between these two families, and they're all vying for power. And then there's also like the hero's journey, like good versus evil. And I feel like they don't really work together.
Yeah.
And so they kind of end up weakening each other.
Yeah. There's a lot of I feel like also it's probably hurt by the fact that you have these like 3 different siblings fighting for Jupiter's. Oh.
Okay, so what were you saying about the siblings?
Yeah, I mean the fact that there's 3 of them. I don't know. Maybe it just was, because you have to just to go to each individual planet, and there's like various different climaxes at the end of each one. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
I'm protecting this woman in the pink.
All right.
And you were talking about the siblings.
Yeah, so there are 3 siblings in the film who are each fighting for Jupiter, I suppose. And Eddie Redmayne is the most villainous, I suppose.
I guess they're all like equally ranked, but he's like
Well, I was kind of
bad guy.
I was kind of confused at first. That they have a sister who seems to be the nicest, but she's still harvesting. All right, so the basic plot of the movie is that these 3 alien siblings harvest different planets, and
for humans.
Yeah, for humans, so that they can get life rejuvenating or youth. All right.
They combine them into like magic goo that keeps them alive.
This is why I don't pitch, because I can't. So they're trying.
This magic goo.
Right.
And it's in space.
Yeah. So they're trying to do that to Earth, and I suppose that Jupiter is Mila Kunis is like the owner of Earth for them, and so.
Or like she's the genetic reincarnation of the Space Queen who owned Earth.
Right.
And because of that, she gets Earth.
All right. It sounds confusing as
And it is confusing.
Yeah. So she goes to each individual sibling. One of them is her daughter, who seems, I guess, to be the nicest one, because his little...
Did she have like an evil plan? I forget.
Well, she's trying to kill a bunch of humans so that she can stay young.
That's true, but she wasn't... She wasn't going to do anything evil with Mila Kunis.
She wasn't like Eddie Redmayne, who had kidnapped her family, or like the other guy whose name I can't remember.
The third dude.
Yeah, the one who was trying to marry her and then kill her.
Yeah, I legitimately thought that was the climax of the movie.
I did too, yeah.
I was like, wait, the movie's still going?
Yeah.
He's rescued her.
I don't want to beat up on the movie too harshly, because it's like, I think obviously they were trying to do something original and different and ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it came together as well as...
Just died of fright.
Oh my god! I just don't think it came together as well as Cloud Atlas did.
Yeah, it definitely, I felt like it really needed to be streamed. Like there was a lot of exposition. I feel like they could have streamlined the world a little bit and made it a little bit more focused. Like I sort of, like at the end I was kind of like, okay, I get what they're going for. It's like a super capitalism 1% type thing where it's like 0.00001% at the top who are like rich dudes who own. Well, whoops. Oh, she's still going.
Hey, come back.
I'm just trying to protect you. I know I'm doing a really bad job. But yeah, it's like there's these rich dudes at the top who like own planets and spaceships, and then there's like at the bottom there's like millions of people who they literally just like harvest. And it's like, okay, it's like I feel like if they had brought out that a little bit more, it might have been a little more interesting, I think.
Right.
It's like Occupy Wall Street times a million.
But I don't think it should, because it's been getting a lot of harsh criticism, and the story's confusing. I just, I feel like certain other movies just get a pass. Like there are a lot of movies that have come out just last year where I was utterly confused by them the entire time through, and yet they just seem to get a pass by critics. And
like which ones?
Oh God, let me think here. Well. I mean, I wasn't too clear about the storyline of X-Men, the last X-Men movie.
That's true. That is a lot of time travel and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like that movie just sort of gets a pass.
Because it's like a comic book movie.
Yeah. I think there's just this sort of odd... You know, people want to beat up on the Wachowskis because their movies haven't been making money.
And it's like, it's an original movie, like completely original.
Yeah.
I feel like those movies get like picked apart a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like there's just been this backlash against them ever since The Matrix was such a hit, because it's like, you know, who are you to make a movie that makes that much money? Plus, people just seem to not like Lana Wachowski. You know, there's this ugliness of, you know, about her choice of lifestyle.
I got tired of talking.
Yeah, you gotta get behind the wheel every so often.
I'm still protecting you.
Yeah, I mean they completely beat up on Cloud Atlas too. So.
Yeah, I think it's also, you can kind of see this when people talk about like the Matrix sequels. Mm-hmm. I feel like the Wachowskis, they kind of do their own thing. Mm-hmm. Like they're not like, let's just make a classic good versus evil movie where the good guys win, the bad guys lose. Like they try to do like interesting different stuff, and it doesn't always work, but it's always like interesting.
Yeah, and I
feel like, and people are like, but it's still bad and confusing. Like I'd rather have a boring, you know, superhero who saves the day movie.
Yeah, another like Captain America, which I mean, I liked the last Captain. I liked the last Captain America, but again, it's like, well, it's a similar kind of, you know. Whoops. Her blood is on the ground now. The blood from her head.
Check out those graphics. I'm thinking Grand Theft Auto creators. Someone was like, you should make it when you run over people, leaves bloody tire tracks.
That's something you don't see in a lot of movies. Like I was watching, I saw John Wick, and he kills like 70 or 80 people in that movie, and every time someone gets shot in the head, it's just a little red dot. It's like, yeah, when in reality we're pieces of meat. Like
just pieces of meat floating around in this crazy world. Just trying not to get run over by SUVs.
I mean, I'll have to say, I was more interested in what was going on in that movie than I was in Blackhat, which maybe has less confusing of a story.
I was still pretty confused with Blackhat.
I was thoroughly confused by Blackhat.
That's purely just because that movie was a bad movie.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, let's talk about that one first. You know, like...
Let's talk about Blackhat.
Yeah, so I guess...
we can do some Blackhat related things.
Yeah. Just sit around and talk about things that don't matter. I think it's just a real symptom of a lot of movies these days. Like, they're just about things that don't really seem to matter. There's no stakes at all.
That dude just flew through the windshield.
I mean, at least Jupiter Ascending had at least one interesting villain. As opposed to the one in Blackhat.
Yeah. Who was the bad? Oh yeah, it was just some like computer nerd.
Yeah, some like French guy. You know.
Blackhat was weird since I felt like I could see. I just felt like the movie wasn't finished.
Yeah,
like there were like sound issues all the way through, and like
finishing issues with digital.
Yeah.
Like some things didn't seem to.
It was like he probably like made a cool movie and he just didn't finish it and just got released unfinished.
Yeah. You know,
like there was a part in the office scene where there was like a phone ringing in the background and it was really loud, and I was like, am I watching a student film?
Yeah.
And they just threw in like an Apple loop in the back there.
That's something. I remember when Michael Mann used to be one of the big guys, and now he's just not that important anymore.
He needs to make a good movie.
Yeah. I feel like, the last movie I saw of his that I really liked was Collateral. The last really great movie of his was The Insider. How did
you feel about the gangster one, whose name I'm forgetting?
Public Enemies?
Yeah.
I liked it better than a lot of people did. But it was one of those things where it felt like you had eaten a full meal, but you were still hungry.
Speaking of gangster movies.
Yeah.
Get my Tommy gun.
You know, it was one of those movies that you could watch it one time and be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be able to dive back into movies, which is what makes The Insider so great. It's like you can keep going back to that movie.
It's just like a rich steak.
Yeah, you keep finding new things in it that are really great. Like movies that you can just put on in the background and not, you know, and still find something interesting about them.
Yeah.
Alright.
We were talking about taxi cabs.
We were, yeah.
They literally drive like I'm driving right now.
They do. It's funny how like you can sit in the back seat of a taxi cab and no matter what crazy shit they do, you feel safe because he's a professional.
They're professional crazy drivers.
Yeah. He does this for a living. I was talking to a friend of mine who, she and some other friends had gotten into an Uber. And the Uber driver told them as they were driving, like, yeah, I just smoked a joint with my last customer. We had a beer.
Like right before he was driving?
Yeah, as he was driving. He's like, yeah, I just... And the smell of weed was apparently so strong within the car.
It's funny because you can tell he was like, I'm just going to make these guys feel like relaxed. Like, you know, I just hang out with my customers and it's cool. And it's like...
It's like, no, I called an Uber because I am not sober enough to drive, okay? I don't want to hear that you are similarly...
You are also...
Yeah.
We're all friends here. We're all drunk.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We're all intoxicated. They told me this as I was driving them home drunk. I wasn't drunk.
You're like, well, funny story.
No, I exercised self-control that night because I knew I would have to drive these two home. So I had my 2-drink minimum.
You could say you were their Kane Wise.
I was their Kane Wise.
Shepherding them through the dangers of space.
It's as close as I've ever come to being Channing Tatum. You know, I actually do like Channing Tatum. I think he's a good actor. Especially when you see him in things like Foxcatcher. And I mean, I thought he was good in Magic Mike. I thought he was good in Side Effects and other Steven. So the fact that somebody like Steven
great
Soderbergh,
in like comedies, like
yeah,
22 Jump Street.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to just sort of dismiss him because of the way he looks. You know, it's.
It is funny. Like I feel like he doesn't always work in like just straight action leading man type roles.
Right.
Like he can do interesting stuff, and he can do kind of like parodies of that, where he's like playing the dumb tough guy.
Yeah.
But I feel like when he's just playing like I'm the hero of this story, like it doesn't always work.
Well, that's what's so weird about him is that you look at him and you think that he would be perfect for that kind of role.
Mm-hmm.
But really, he's completely convincing in something like Foxcatcher. I really felt for him. And thought that he was just as deserving of Oscar attention as Steve Carell and Mark Ruffalo.
Sure, he'll probably when he's like old and a distinguished actor, he'll have his time.
Yeah, it's really weird with him. Like maybe he's just a little too smart for those kinds of roles. Which is not, you don't expect to be saying something like that about Channing Tatum. I guess, but that's a part of the stereotype.
Well, he's sort of like, I feel like he's like knowing about himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like, in Sylvester Stallone, like when he plays badass, you know he's like thinking like, yeah, I'm so cool.
Yeah.
I'm just cool badass. Channing Tatum's kind of like, this movie is silly.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with it.
That's a good point.
Like, I don't see Channing Tatum in The Expendables. Make that a Jump Street sequel. Did you hear they're going to do, or they were thinking of doing Jump Street 3 as the Men in Black sequel?
Oh, really?
Which is just the best idea.
I didn't hear that. That'd be so cool. So would Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones be in it? Or? I don't
think so. They might make like cameos, like in Jump Street 1.
How you doing? I'm HK.
Maybe I feel like Tommy Lee Jones would probably just be like, no. I don't want to do that.
22 what?
Didn't they already make a 21 Jump Street?
I remember the TV show was on when my daughter was young.
She really liked that one young fellow,
Jonathan
Timothy Depp.
Yeah.
Has Tommy Lee Jones ever been in a movie with Johnny Depp?
That's a good question. I don't think so. That would be an odd combination.
Let's write that movie so close.
Let's do it, yeah. Man, Johnny Depp, what is he doing?
I told you about the ending, the proposed ending to Birdman.
You did, yes.
Where he was Johnny Depp playing Johnny Depp in the Michael Keaton role.
Yeah.
And he looks behind him, and then there's Jack Sparrow, and then Jack Sparrow is like the Birdman, devil on the shoulders. Like, what have we done to get here, mate?
I feel like that was probably the movie that ended Johnny Depp's career as a serious actor.
Which one?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because it was like the one that made him a movie star, but it was also the one that just turned every performance of his, with very few exceptions, into a cartoon. You know,
he was like, if I just play these ridiculous performances,
yeah,
people will pay me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah, but I mean, you look like Ed Wood. He's always played kind of like a cartoon character. But they used to be
cartoon weirdos.
Yeah, there used to be more depth to them. Like in Ed Wood, there was some real pathos to the character. And even in like Edward Scissorhands.
I wonder if it's also like, if it's just the money.
Yeah.
Like once you get that super rich, like you have a hard time coming back down to like a normal level. Like I was thinking, like Eddie Murphy's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Like he can't do jokes about like what it's like to just be a normal person taking the subway, because like he probably has like a private jet.
Yeah. He's never gonna get back to that
grounded if you're like a multi-billionaire.
That's why I have no real desire to be rich in my life.
I'll take it.
Okay, well then I'll just live off of you.
I feel like if you live off my millions, the same thing will happen. You'll be like, yeah, don't you hate it when your friend want to borrow your friend's private jet and it's like he's using it? I mean, come on.
That would be a funny bet to have. It was like
friend of the world's richest man. Man, I hate it. I wanted to use one of his private islands, but like Shaq already had a party there. He had a reception for Barack Obama, and I wasn't invited. Come on.
Could you imagine having like $400 million in the bank right now? What would you do with that?
I do. Yeah. Wait, how do I get my money to pop up? $580 million.
I would travel. I would get the hell out of Dodge and buy a bunch of Blu-rays.
I feel like at some point it's like when you have that much, like you can buy anything you want. And I feel like that kind of choke. Like you could go into Amoeba and just buy every Blu-ray you see. Like I don't know if I couldn't handle that kind of power.
I know, and I just see normal people. I guess they're not normal; they have more money than me. But people just come in with like baskets full of stuff that they're going to buy every day. God, like how do you have the money? It's
crazy.
Yeah, that is my one vice, though, just buying Blu-rays.
Because, I think that you have more than one vice.
Oh, okay, yeah, but my one non-destructive vice.
Okay.
I
feel like that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. I can justify it in my mind because I want to make movies and write about movies.
I mean, you have money so you can do things you like.
Yeah.
Including watching movies. Playing video games.
Beep. One of these days I would like to get to a point where maybe I can, on the side, review Blu-rays so that I can get them for free from the studio.
Man, we should start... I guess you don't care about this, but I care. You can be like a video game reviewer.
Yeah.
Just get video games for free. Though I feel like I've heard from, or like read, like people who actually do it, like since it becomes like your job, it's not actually that awesome. But
that's true, yeah. Which is one of the reasons why I don't want to go to the Academy Awards.
As like a
a red carpet or
like
press person.
I assume you'd like to go as a nominee.
I would, yes. I would love very much.
Presenter.
Yeah.
Famous person, you just be like Jack Nicholson wearing your sunglasses, sitting in the front row, clearly want to be anywhere else but here.
I would like to do what Clint Eastwood did when he presented Best Director to Steven Spielberg. He gets up there and says, well, it's been a long night, and one of these lucky people is going to get an Oscar, so they put me on a teleprompter. All right, let's get to it.
Let's get this over with.
It's
past my bedtime.
You got to see American Sniper so we can talk about that.
Let's do the next one about American Sniper.
Yeah.
I'll watch American Sniper. Yep.
Well, I guess.
The camera rolled out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's enough talking.
Yeah.
There's no footage, but you can hear what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. This is Zach on/2 Zach Auto Movie Reviews.
We'll figure out the title before we go. Yeah.
I'm gonna get an explosion. I'm gonna cut out. Leave out an explosion.